Welcome to the show. You're on with JovanTooGood
AC21.
And today we got a special guest. We got my man's over here, Derek Nash.
AKA
Welcome to the show, Derek.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
So how y'all weekend been going so far?
It's been going pretty good, man. It's been going pretty good. Before we do all that, let's talk about what we got here.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be sipping and tripping without us talking about the liquor that we got sitting right here. Now, this is my favorite right here. So, I got Malibu Peach.
My man's got Malibu over here.
I mean, what's wrong with Malibu?
Malibu bag. Remember that thing we was talking about ice cream?
Yeah, what about it?
That's the same thing with Malibu.
What you trying to say it's a woman's drink?
I ain't saying that. No,
We're saying that Malibu is like the equivalent to what's the ice cream?
Butter pecan ice cream that you was talking about.
First of all, it's butter pecan.
Oh,
okay, that's what it is.
Pecan. Oh, you got it.
Butter pecan.
Oh, anyway, before we start, viewer discretion is advised. Anything we say or do, well, if it offends you, please let us know and address in our comments, you guys. So we're going to get started with my man's Malibu over here.
I'm going to go ahead and pop open the Malibu.
Go ahead.
At least it's peach, though.
Yeah.
At least it's peach. You know?
It's peach. I had the regular one. I haven't tried the other one.
I don't know if you hit, you know, coconut is a weird flavor, too.
You want some?
Yeah, come on, man. What you come on? I want some. Come on. Really? Really? Pass me my cup. You talking about I want some? Come on, man. You know this is. Here, let me see what we got over here. Hold on, wait. Hold on.
All right. So while you do all that, this is our first time being in the studio, guys. This is our first time actually taking our show to the next level. So I'm pretty excited about that. And we're gonna. This is only to many more, for the most part. I got a few things that I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about first, accountability in men. That's gonna be the first topic today. Okay,
that's a little heavy right there.
Yeah. So we've been talking about women all this time, and I know I got some women out there who are my enemies right now, and they don't really like me as much because I'll be telling them the truth, right? But today we're going to actually talk about accountability in men. What are some things that men need to be held accountable for? Let's start with you. Or one of y'all can start.
I mean, I feel like, to start off, the biggest things, our actions, how we perceive ourselves and how we treat others. I feel as though like a lot of us, we so often want to blame other people for our problems instead of us just sitting back and being like, oh man, what am I doing wrong? I feel like that's just one of those things. It's a lot. It's a lot that I feel like us as not just men and women in general, we all have to learn to be accountable for. And I feel like that's what we need to work on for real.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to be accountable for as men. I think in our society today, men are they don't take accountability as much, right? Mm-hmm. And not only that, their actions really show it. Yeah. So they say, they talk a big game, but for the most part, their actions say something else. We don't have a lot of men taking on leadership roles. We have a lot of men falling back and being in a more feminine role. And I think it's okay to kind of have a balance between masculinity and femininity as a man, because I think that you do need to be able to cry. I do think there's a time and a place for that. I think that at the same time, though, you need to remain strong. You need to be masculine. You need to make sure that you are being a leader at all times. And you need to make sure that you're going out there and you're working hard and you're getting fit and you're being healthy and you're leading by example for the most part.
Wait. So you say like like a lot of men are falling into feminine roles. How is that possible if like the world will not even allow us to do that?
That's bullshit.
They would not. They don't. The world don't want to allow men to have any type of femininity up in them. We always have to be strong. We always have to be the man all the time. So
I'll tell you exactly how they're doing it. You want to know how?
How?
They turning everybody fucking gay.
Wow. They
turning everybody. They trying to chop the dicks off. That's what they trying to do.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Like I'm just calling it. I'm calling it out of here. You asked me a question. I'm telling you exactly what they doing.
It's a two-edged sword.
Oh my God.
You know, it really is. It's a two-edged
That's why they
sword.
promoting LGBT.
Well,
That's not the reason why.
what I'm saying is you can fall into a role whereas you're not in leadership, and at the same time, you know, still try and do everything that you can to be the man in your own world. See, and with that being said, yes, we do need more male leaders. We do need more people that will stand up and say, look, I'm going to do this role and I'm going to take care of it, and I'm going to be accountable for everything that I say that I'm going to do. And if I'm not, then replace me. You know, not many people are willing to do that. People want their cake and they eat it too. They want to say, look, I want all the benefits of the role that I'm going to take, but I'm not going to exercise all of the things that I need to do to be in that role. So yeah, as men, we do need to get together. We need to stand up together for masculinity as a whole, because a lot of this, what's going on in our society now, is due to us not standing together and holding each other accountable for the roles of real men and gender in society.
I agree with you, and I'm so glad that you said that. In terms of like holding each other accountable, because I think a lot of times what happens is that we're afraid. We're afraid to hold each other accountable as men because we're afraid, because inherently men are more dangerous than women, right? So you know that my mentor told me something a while back, and it stuck with me forever. He says there's 3 things that you never mess with when it comes to a man. You never mess with a man's money, you never mess with a man's ego, or you never mess with a man's spouse. All those 3 things will get you fucked up.
Understandable.
So holding each other accountable, I think, is something that we need to do. We need to be able to say to each other, listen, man, you fucking up. And that should be okay, without people getting aggressive and people getting all in their feelings about it. Like, as men, we need to be able to say to each other when we're messing up, we need to be able to hold each other accountable. We need to be able to say things like, listen, this is how you should treat your girl. This is how you should treat your wife. You know what I mean? We can't sit on the sidelines, guys, because if we sit on the sidelines, they're going to take over. Whoever it is, you can call it whatever. You can call it the Matrix. You can call it the elites. I don't know. I don't care who it is. They're going to take over. They're going to put us in a more feminine role to where we don't have a backbone. And then they're going to allow all the women to take over while we just sit on the sidelines.
I mean, I can agree with that. I do understand that it is hard for people to accept accountability, especially if that is not what is often brought to you as like in general, you know, like, because like I said once, I will say it again, everybody wants to find something to blame or find someone to blame their problems on. And if you don't have that one person in your corner or by your side to be like, hey, look, that's wrong. No, you can't do that. Then yes, of course, we're all going to falter. And honestly, I know we said we're going to do this, but I think the biggest portion of us as humans that need to learn accountability, I ain't gonna lie to you, is women. Is women. They do not hold themselves accountable.
Hold on,
shit.
that's pretty sexist, man. That you're saying that right now.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm saying it.
They gonna get on you for that. So, you know.
Hey, look. It happens to you. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to me. We in this together. Shoot, I'm with you.
Interesting. So with that being said, my next question is: Should women be held to the same standard as men?
I say yes.
In terms of accountability.
Well, in terms of accountability,
yes.
In every facet of life, or just a relationship, or what's the full question?
In terms of relationships, let's talk about that.
So.
Yes.
Should they be held to the same standard?
Yes, especially if you're in a relationship. Why do I have to often take all the problems and I take the blame and you get away scot free, or just like in general in life, like I had like so for instance, like the other day I had like a situation. It was just something simple. I'm washing my clothes, right? Mm-hmm. So now this lady, she comes down there and takes my clothes out of the dryer and put her clothes in. And I literally was so wrong. Like in my mind, I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, in my mind, I feel like I want to just take all her clothes out and put them all on the floor and just put a note that say, don't touch my stuff again. But I've known that this lady has had a problem with saying that it's not my fault that you use this washer that I used all the time. You use this dryer that I use all this time. Like you're staking claim on something that's literally not even yours, but you don't want to put your, like when we trying to tell you like this is wrong and what you're doing, you think you trying to make everybody else seem like that it's the problem and that we are the problem. But instead you just can't do something simple as be like, hey, look, can I just use this dryer? Can I use this? I need to wash this or I need to dry this real quick. It's just something so simple as that like can make everything better in life. You know, that's just my personal take on that little piece right there.
How did you handle that situation?
Oh, I had to walk off.
you never spoke to her directly?
Well, I the reason why was because in the mind that I was in right now, I was going to be in the wrong of how I would have presented myself. I would have been angry. I would have been upset. And I literally probably would have got a complaint through the building manager because like I said, I would have threw all her clothes on the floor. It literally put my clothes back in there. So with that being said, I had to hold myself accountable. I told myself accountable for my anger and what I'm feeling. Because if I would have took this and put it out on this person, then it would have caused a whole heap of mess. So that's that. It's just something just like so simple as like how people can just, you know, just be so rude and just so misunderstanding of themselves and everybody else.
Well, you know, I think it's because women live in a different reality than us men, you know, because they don't play by the same rules. You have to understand that. Women do not play by the same rules, and they don't even realize that they're not playing by the same rules, because if that was a guy, right, we already know what happens. When it's a guy and a guy, like we know, there's certain things you don't do unless you're ready to fight, okay? But women don't have that, they don't have that luxury because it's like, they're protected. They're protected. They know you ain't gonna do shit because if you do shit, you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah,
so they live in a different reality where they think that they can just do certain stuff, be rude, be mean, put their hands on you and all this other stuff, and that there's not gonna be any accountability, which is completely false. But you know what we have to do as men though, we have to be better than that. Think about if every man walked, talked, and thought like a woman. It would be hell on earth for women. It really would. If we did the same things that they did to us, it would be hell on earth for women. And they don't even realize it. They're so blinded by it. I was given a scenario one day to my wife, and I was telling her, I was like, you know what? It's interesting. If I did the exact same thing that you did to me, what would you forgive me for that? Because, you know, oftentimes we see in these movies, right, where the man will beat on the woman, and everybody in the theater they're saying like, girl, you shouldn't even be in that marriage. You need to leave him. You need to leave him. But at the same time though, when a woman does it to a man, we don't get that same luxury. Oh, we're supposed to be a little bit more understanding. You know, we're supposed to be able to make them feel more calm and things of that nature. You know, it's like, no. So when we talk about accountability on both sides, it needs to be accountability on both sides. And if it's not, then that's a conversation that we need to have.
Well, I really think that, you know, there has to be some sort of protection for women. There has to be. Because just like you said, if we were to act on every impulse, or we were to just be out here just moving on our feelings all the time, then women would be totally unprotected, and
Exactly.
Lots of things would happen to them that society has to have some sort of safeguards in place for them. You know, there's a flip side to accountability too. So at some point you can say, look, you're messing up. You know, I got to be there for you. I mean, you need to do what you got to do. But at some point, when you see one of your brothers, like they become introverted, or they're just off on their own, they're not texting you, they're not going out, they're not doing the things that they normally do. At some point, as a friend or as another male counterpart, you should reach out and look into, hey, what's going on with this person? That's part of being accountable too, because we're being accountable for one another. As far as, you know, what happens between males and females, I think that's something that we need to really look into and try to understand, you know, why things are this way, because we do have to have safeguards, but we do have to have accountability for what is going on as far as what they do in society too.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, I think the safeguards are already in place, to your point, because us as men, I would say most men are inherently, they realize that, you know what, women are a lot weaker than men. And so we can't just go around putting our hands on them, right? We need to be protecting women at all times. We need to make sure that they feel safe and secure. That's what real masculinity is. That's what genuine masculinity. There can never be too much masculinity if it's genuine masculinity. And I think that's what people get wrong. So they throw out these terms like toxic masculinity, and them two don't even go together.
Toxic and masculinity.
If it's genuine masculinity, there's no such thing as too much masculinity if it's genuine masculinity. So what happened was that they blurred the lines between what masculinity is and what it is not. Right. So what people perceive as masculinity is putting their hands on a woman or being dominant over a woman. That's masculine. No, that's not masculinity. Masculinity will prevent you from putting your hands on your woman. Masculinity protects the community. It raises and respects children. It raises and makes women feel secure. That is what masculinity is. But toxicity is the opposite of masculinity. You can't even put those two together. So when people put that shit together, it really blows my mind, because I know what it is. It's an attack on men. It's an attack on masculinity, because they don't want traditional masculinity. Whoever's in charge, I don't care who it is, whoever is in charge, they don't want traditional masculinity. Why? For the number one reason, because we're not easily manipulated.
I think because like me growing up, trying to figure it out, even still to this day, me also trying to figure out masculinity for myself. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm not as masculine as a lot of men. So me going out trying to figure it out. So people trying to label something that they really probably don't even honestly know themselves. So how would you know what actual masculinity is if you don't, know you, or you don't know or how to treat yourself or be you, because I said like me growing up, I was a very sensitive kid, shy, sensitive, a little overweight, you know what I'm saying? People made fun of my mama. I probably shed a tear too. I won't do it nowadays. I whoop some ass with this motherfucker. But as the older I got, and then the more I started like hanging out with all types of men, like different types of men, also taking journeys on my own, on myself, coming into myself. And I learned that it is okay to have a feminine side also displayed with your masculine side. Yeah. And, that's why I feel like when it comes to me and having conversations with a lot of people, that I can look from both sides of a problem, or I can be a little bit sensitive to more of a matter than most, where, I'd be like, okay, maybe this, but because of this person is either going through this, but then sometimes I'm like, nah, man, that's just bullshit. And it's kind of hard when the lines are blurred as to what masculinity is. So masculinity, I think, to me personally, masculinity is what you define as your own type of masculine. I mean, that's how I see it. Like I say men with beards are masculine. I say if you ain't got no beard, you a little boy. He look at me.
I don't think that you can define what your masculinity is for you. I think it's whatever the market decides is masculinity.
Man, fuck the market.
No, because listen, check this out.
I don't wait. No, before you go there.
Okay, what if a man decided?
Fuck the market.
What if a man decided that masculinity was putting his hands on his woman? He decided that shit.
Oh, you said man?
Yeah, what if a man decided that masculinity was, I'm gonna put my hands on my woman? That's masculine. So, he decided that shit. So, no, absolutely not. To my point, the market decides. So the market decides what masculinity is.
Again, social constructs. These are things that influence everybody. Certain things are socially guidelines that are put on all of us. And you got to understand that it's going to influence you and your views on things. Like, the thing about being masculine to me is to know that it's always evolving, just like you are. As a man, you're always evolving. you don't want to ever become stagnant, right?
No.
Right.
No,
so
never.
that's why you go to the gym. That's why you work out.
Yeah.
That's why you read books. You know what I mean? Because you want to always be increasing your knowledge, increasing your strength, increasing everything about yourself, even your influence over other people. That's the reason why you're doing a podcast now.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, masculinity is something that's always changing. It's always changing in you. And then you have to be able to influence other younger people to understand that and keep it moving within them, so that after you leave here and the next generations are to come, they'll be stronger than what you are right now. And then you know that it'll be in better hands. Your city, your state, your country will be left in better hands even when you leave here.
Yeah. I think it's probably one of the biggest reasons why, like, I don't have children at the moment, is because I want to be able to know me, and I want to be able to instill any type of knowledge that I learned, like you said, down to a generation, to my next generation. But I feel as though, like, me as a man who doesn't have kids or anything, and I'm not saying like I'm not ready or anything like that, and there's nothing like, you can never be ready to have kids. You can never be. I will put that. But me right now, as I tend to learn and I tend to see how and what type of parent that I want to be for myself going forth as I'm, evolving and getting older. Like, like it was some things like I'm as a kid, eczema, you know what I'm saying? My parents just take me to the doctor, give me some cream. But now you get older, it's deeper than that. You got to do oatmeal baths. You got to make sure you ain't wearing non-scented stuff. So it's just like little stuff like that, that I'm learning about myself, that in case that I want to be able to, okay, I did this when I was a kid, I know how to do this and how to construct this when I have my kids. And and then I was like, because I was talking to my dad. Me and my dad had a good ass weekend. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit was fun.
I seen it on Instagram.
I know. Hey, y'all check out my IG. I'll leave it in the bio. So, and he made me realize something about fatherhood, is that, like, you're not perfect. You're not perfect. And that he truly is like the backbone. He's the backbone to not only my backbone, to my family's backbone. And everything that I had learned from him, I can say that I can add on to what I want to teach down to his grandkid when I have one. And I see, like, y'all two as fathers. I see how good you are with your son. And then I see how you are with your kids when we was all playing ball and you brought like 40 people outside. So, and I just wanted to tell y'all, and I want to tell y'all in the whole, that I do appreciate, like fathers, I do appreciate y'all and how impactful that y'all are in society. And I want y'all to know that if anybody never tell y'all, that I'm proud of y'all for being two good ass amazing dads, though. Just want to tell y'all that.
Appreciate it.
And I guess that leads into our next topic, like fatherhood. You're not a father yet, but you have some. I'm sure you would make a great father. If you were to start today.
Shit,
Derek, you're a father. What's one thing that you would? And I want to talk about sons and daughters, and what's one thing that you want to teach your son? What's the most important thing you want to teach him?
To be a free thinker. I want him. I want them. I have 5 sons. I want them to understand that in any situation, you need to think before you react. Reacting gets people in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Because, it's an impulsive thing. It's something that this happened, so I just reacted and I did this. And the next thing you know, you're behind bars, especially when you're a man of color.
Yeah.
So first, think about what you do, and then all your actions, everything that you do, there's going to be consequences and repercussions behind it. You want to reap the benefits of being a person who has well thought out plans, and then you reap the benefits of those plans later in life. Not an impulsive person that reacts to everything, and next thing you know, you don't know how you got in jail, or you don't know how you're in destitute and poverty, and you don't know why you're with the person that you can't stand to be with, and you wake up next to them every day. So
That's a big one right there.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What about you?
Yeah, me personally, the biggest thing that I want to teach my son is
How to be a player?
no, that's not it. I don't think that's necessary. Don't get me wrong, you should have fun, you know what I'm saying, and you should gain the experience. But I don't think that long term being a player is what's going to be effective for you in your life. The biggest thing that I want to teach my son is to just damn, I just had it. What was it? I want to teach him. Oh, yep. I want to teach him to understand his value. And I want him to know that there's going to be people that try to attack you. The world is going to try to attack you for being a man. The world is going to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I want him to be able to think for himself, and I want him to be able to understand his value and understand that the world cannot function without him. Right? Him as a man, the world cannot function without him. Everything that he brings to the table in terms of his masculine energy, because if he acted like a female, if he was a female, he'd be doing female shit. And I don't want him to do female shit because he wasn't born a female. He was born a male. He was born a man. God put him on this planet as a leader. He put him on this planet because we need more good men. We need more good men to stand up for what's right. We need more good men to stand up and take care of their wives, take care of their children, and to be a masculine force, genuine masculine force in this world. You know, so understanding his value and understanding that the world cannot function without him, that he plays such a big role in society. And if he can understand that, he's going to feel empowered, he's going to feel confident, and he's going to operate differently, right? He's going to make sure that his family is taken care of. He's going to go to war every single day. He's going to get up and he's going to wake up and he's going to say, you know what? I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of my wife. I got to make sure my wife is secure. I got to take care of my daughter. I got to make sure she's secure. I got to teach her the right things. I got to teach my son the right thing. I got to make sure that he is carrying on the family legacy. And I got to make sure that I build a strong foundation for my family so that we all can go out and attack the world and we can be great and we can impact and change people's lives.
So, in other words, you're saying he needs to understand that he has the ability to make a change in this world.
Absolutely.
And each little change that we make in the world is progress in changing the world. So, yeah.
And I think if a lot of young men understood that, because a lot of young men grew up without fathers. You know what I'm saying? I grew up without a father, and I had to find fathers, thank God, through mentorship, and I didn't find it in the streets. It was just always something about me that kept me out of the streets, you know. And it might have been my mom, you know. So, you know, my mom was a single mom. I was adopted, actually. I was in DCFS for about 6 years and came out of it, got adopted by my cousin, who was now my mom. Mm-hmm. And she kept me in good shape, you know, because she always saw great things in me.
Congratulations.
And I will always be indebted to her for that. I always appreciate her for that. It was because of her I didn't get caught up in the wrong crowd, you know, and because of that, I am the man who I am. I'm the man who I am today, and because of that, I take care of my family. You know, I take care of my kids and my wife, and I make sure that they're good. You know, as long as I'm in the house, I will make sure that they're good. Even when I'm out the house, I make sure that they're good.
See, I can see that because, like, you know. My father, though, kept me out the streets. You know, my father, he was in the streets. He had like war stories, like he was in like World War II. I tell you that much. Like I call it his Caprini Green Civil War days, like for real. And he like talks to us about so much that he'd been through and so much that he did. And me personally, I know for a fact that I couldn't be in the streets. One, I don't like looking behind my back every 5 minutes. Two, if I were to sell drugs, I'd be like an undercover white cop. I ain't gonna lie to you. They gonna look at me and they gonna be like, yeah, that man got drugs. Yeah, get him. Get that man right now, for one. For two, and
especially, I'm sorry, but especially if you try to do it in that shirt right there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look, I got a trend. Hey, look, I got a trend going on. This is the third day I got my chest out. So look, bear with me. This is the third day. I'm actually feeling real good. See, look, cut my little beard all the way down, trying to get it all good. But
evolution.
There we go. Yeah. And so he would tell me, he was like, one time he said he woke up. He come outside, it's like dead bodies in front of his door, and he'll tell us like how he was, I ain't gonna put the business out, but y'all, you've seen state property, right?
No, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen? Come on, man, you be killing me, man. My daddy be reminding me of Benny Siegel sometimes. Wow. No, I'm just kidding, but no, he like for real though. Like he kept us out there. He kept us out of it. He made sure like we stayed in like better areas. Like Hyde Park. You know what I'm saying? For Chicago, Hyde Park is like the middle between coming to the south and then going downtown. Yeah. So it's very gentrified and all that stuff. But it's a real nice community, and also he instilled family values. Like we together, we stick together, and because all we got is family, and which kind of like it all trickles down, especially onto me a lot actually. I love them motherfuckers. And I was saying was going to finish up is that he will often take us out. Like we will all go out of the state. We all go out of the state. Well, my mom would help that. My stepmother would help that. But because of them two and what they brought into us, they're saying like the streets ain't everything. You get out, you go out your state, you go out and go visit other places. So, like enjoy life. And not everything has to be about being tough, being hood. I'm just saying, just being yourself and living your life and enjoying your life.
So let's talk about that word.
What?
Tough.
Oh, shit.
So, and you said tough and then you said hood, like it just goes hand in hand. But do you think it takes toughness to get up and go to work every day?
Oh, I say so, yeah.
How about provide for people that depend on you?
Absolutely.
I say it's tough. I say it's tough because you have to, because you have to do those things, and we necessarily don't always want to do these things.
Wait. Why do we have to do those things? Why can't women do it?
Man, can we just finish this real quick before we go back on there?
No, I'm just. It's a question. It just came to my mind.
This is something that there are some women that do all of these things that we're talking about.
Yeah,
and that takes toughness too.
Yeah, so right. So toughness is like it.
You mean doing it for a man?
No, I mean doing it for their family.
Yeah,
doing it for their family, right? Because women would not support a man. Men would support women though.
But if a woman doesn't have a man, she has to support herself.
Yeah, she ain't got no choice.
Right.
Well,
do you think she wants to do it?
There's some women that do support a guy. And if they do that, then society looks at them totally different than they look at men that support women.
Yeah, don't you think that she's tired though? And at some point it's gonna cause tension?
Of course.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that leads me to believe that women shouldn't be doing those things. It's a man's job to provide for his family. It's a man's job to be able to provide for a woman.
I don't think
this is social structures again, because in different countries, if they didn't see things, if they don't have a social construct of this being the way that it's done, then they might view it differently.
I don't know, but here's the thing: I don't necessarily see it. I feel like people live their lives the way they want to live their life. And maybe some women who take care of a man, they feel and need to have that empowered over that man because something happened in their life that makes them feel empowered. I think those, like, everything goes back into one's past. That's how I see it. I see things from both sides.
There's outliers for each of the things.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say you're a man. You were part of Vietnam. You came home. Your mental state isn't what it should be. It's not what it should be for you to be able to go out and support your household anymore, But you're married, and the woman that you're married to still loves you, and she keeps you at home. You're getting paid from the government or whatever. Those checks go straight to the house. But everything else she does, and she supports you, that is one of the outliers. That's okay for that.
But you still bringing in money though. You bringing in money.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but you're not covering everything. You know.
Yeah, you're not covering everything, but a woman wouldn't be with you if you didn't have anything. You know.
Well,
women wouldn't.
You'd be surprised.
Chris Rock said this in a stand-up one time. He says, women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under condition that he provides something.
Yeah, but
so even if he all fucked up after coming from Vietnam, he's still getting some checks coming in. And so, you know, and because of the morals and the values that and the commitments and the vows that she said to him, then she has to stay. But if he didn't bring nothing in, them vows would be out the window.
Yeah, but why would you want to be? Why would you want to be with somebody who don't love you unconditionally anyway?
Bro, that's how most women are.
If you don't like me for who I am, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. No, that's how most women are.
I'm not sorry for you not liking me for who I am. Why would I be sorry for that?
No.
That's on you.
No, what I'm saying is like when I'm not saying I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing. I'm saying I'm sorry you don't like me, but I'm just gonna be who I am. And if you don't like me, I'm sorry that you don't. Because
all I'm saying is that you got to be providing something. If the moment you stop providing something, it's going to cause problems.
Because there's no, I can't. But that's.
But you know what? That's women's nature, and you have to learn how to deal with them. Because we're not going to stop dating women. We're not going to stop marrying women. We love women. You know what I'm saying? So we
definitely
we see them differently than they see us, and that's absolutely fine. I just understand women's natures now. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop dating women and stop marrying them just because I understand their nature.
Let me ask you: when did you become woke to these women's natures? Was this before or after before or after marriage?
This was after marriage, and after I started going through a lot of problems, and then I started seeing a lot of things that happened in my family and in my family, my current family, and then my family with my aunties and my mom and things of that nature. And then I started talking to a lot of different guys, and I started seeing that this shit was a pattern. And not only that, I started seeing a lot of stuff online. No lie, like, you know, people like Kevin Samuels was a big influence in my life because I heard the things that he said. I was like, really? And then I put it into practice. And then once I put it into practice, I was like, oh, shoot. That's when I realized that he was right. And I was like, and I started seeing it. I saw it in my mom, too. I was like, oh, shit. It's not just me. It's not just my experience. My mom went through this experience. And the funny thing is, my mom always told me, she said, never move in with a woman. Because when she gets mad, she's going to put you out. Especially if you moved in with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she moved in with you, let her move in with you. That's different.
That's crazy. My mama told me a different thing. My mama told me, she said, hey, look, you ugly. Just make her laugh. Wow. So we got two different things going on over here.
Wow.
Hey,
she was honest
look,
with you.
I understand what you're talking about, though, man. I do. You can't. You have to have your own space.
You
definitely
do.
Oh, yes.
Because women need to be able to see you as the leader. They subconsciously in their mind, they're like, oh, he's the man. If she goes and buy the house, if you move in with her, she's gonna always have it in the back of her mind that, well, this is my shit.
I did that one time, and it was from September to December while I lived with somebody, and it was good, it was great, but it wasn't mine. So I never felt like it was like completely. I felt completely home.
You never felt like you were completely at home.
No,
right?
never.
I get that.
So I got since I got my own crib now. I don't like going over nobody's house. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like that. I don't like going over nobody's house. But I know for a fact that I cannot move out in with somebody unless we both on there or you living with me. And because it took me to live by myself for going on 3 years now. Yeah, about 3 years. I've been living with people, of course, all my life, and up until like the 3 years ago, I finally lived on my own. And it's so much I've learned and experienced that I'm so glad that I took the time out to be by myself.
Yeah.
Before I actually jumped into living with somebody and taking time away from relationships.
Definitely so, because you have to know yourself, and if you don't know yourself, you're not able to establish certain boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be boundaries set in your own mind as to what you're going to allow somebody to do with you and to you.
Yeah.
If you don't have those set up, then people will walk all over you.
See, now that is when I learned of women natures, when I finally moved in by myself. Like, of course, I was always aware to how a woman was, you know, have been with and dated a lot of women and also lived with a woman. But it was until I got my own crib until I actually realized like their natures and how they can be vindictive, you know, and such. And you just learn. You just learn how to move around. You just learn how to adapt to their natures, and in which that you just like, okay, I already know what this person on. I know what that person on. I know what that person. And you just I don't know. I just try not to let it affect me.
The crazy thing about it is that you know, women will you know, obviously they're going to try to defend themselves, right? No, I'm not like that. Not all women like that. Absolutely. And what I'm saying is that not all women are like that. Obviously, most women are like that, right? But just because there is an exception to the rule,
I like how he used this word "most" now.
It's much better than all.
It's much better. It went from all to most. I like that.
What I will say,
look, Derek.
What I will say, it's the women in America, okay? Because you go over to all these Middle Eastern countries and stuff, they know what it is. They look at American women like they crazy. Like seriously, they look at them like, what? You don't? I went over to Mexico a few times already. I've been over there, and every single time I've been over there, they've treated me, my aunties, like my wife's aunties, treated me like king.
They smell money.
You know what I'm saying? It's not even that, bro. That's just how they treat men in general. Like, it wasn't even me. They was treating my uncles like that, like the grandpas, like, you know, the Theos, like, they was treating them like, you know, kings and stuff. And then you come back over to America, it's like, well, all that shit happened. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, what happened to my food?
This man.
Well, just think about this. Think about this. If you go back in time, if you go back in time and just think about how things were in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Well, not even to say 90s. Let's say the 70s and the 80s. The way that we looked at each other was different. You know, the home, the construct of the home was different. People were coming home, they were eating dinner at the table together every day. It's nothing like that now.
No.
It's nothing like that now.
My dad don't even eat with us.
You see what I mean?
Such value.
But he cooks though. He cooks though. He want everybody else to eat first.
I mean, that's a value though. That's something that is good. But just things have changed so quickly here in America, the way that we look at people, the way we look at each other, even the way we look at elderly people. Like, think about this. If you're on the road and there's an elderly person in front of you driving, you know the ones that are driving real slow and they got their knuckles up here,
the big
barely
steering
see
wheel
over the steering wheel. What are you doing? Do you take into consideration that person's elderly? They probably can't see that well. They're taking their time. They're being cautious. Or do you blow your horn and try to get them out the way?
I started thinking about Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber. he's like, hey, although old people are slow and dangerous behind the wheel, still can serve a purpose. I'll be right back. Don't you go dying on me.
See, I mean, I'm more the, I'm gonna just hit the other lane type person. You know, I mean, I look at you, I'm like, damn, that's a big ass steering wheel.
Yeah. But we don't put value on people like we should anymore. And everything is about self now, you know.
Yeah.
Everything is about how many clicks you get, you know, how many selfies you can post, how many likes you get. And it's time to reevaluate where we are as a society. It's time to reevaluate how we look at things and each other and what we put value on. That's something that's important, you know.
Super important. And what's going to be the driving force behind that is strong masculine men, quite honestly. And I hate to keep bringing it back to this, but it's the truth. Like, when we don't have strong masculine men leading the house and leading society the correct way, right? Making sure that women and children have options, making sure that they feel secure, right? That's super important. I think, like you were talking about earlier, in terms of like masculinity is always evolving, right? So back then we weren't necessarily worried about a woman growing in her career. We weren't necessarily worried about, you know, her being the best version of herself. We had a specific task for her, and it made our life so much easier. And I would even argue that, you know, she was happy too. But we've grown in that area. So for me now, masculinity is making sure that I'm able to provide for my wife and making sure that I'm able to give her options. If she doesn't want to work at her job, I want to make sure that I'm financially secure enough to bring her home and be like, listen, babe, you don't have to go to work if you don't want to. If you want to go to work, that's absolutely fine. You know what I'm saying? But I can take care of the bills. If you want to go to school and everything like that, that's absolutely fine. If you want to go work a job, that's fine. If you want to go build an empire, go do it. Like, go be free. Go do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying?
But what if the shoe was on the other foot? What if she was you?
Oh, she wouldn't do it.
Oh, so
that goes back to my point. Women wouldn't support a man long term like that.
Well, sometimes support comes in different ways.
It comes in different ways, but she wouldn't pay the bills for a man long term.
If you tell, so you telling me
sometimes providing is different too.
So you telling me that it's like there's no woman out here that if you were to say, hey babe, I'm finna stop this and I'm finna try to start this journey in business, and she's not gonna support you?
Only for a little while. But she wouldn't do it long term, and that's my whole point between men and women, how we're different. Like, we could marry a McDonald's worker and we can pay the bills through the rest of her life, and we wouldn't ask for a dime. Women, they'll do it for a little bit because obviously they want to show that, you know, they want to be, they're there for you, but they wouldn't do that shit forever. You know what I'm saying? So
I can say what you're speaking towards is like your character, because not every man is like that. There's some people out here that will get out here and try to take advantage of every woman that they can.
Yep.
You know, so
I agree.
There's a flip side to every coin.
Yeah.
But like provision, sometimes providing is not just financial. Sometimes providing and support is being there for that person emotionally, mentally, stimulating them to do better with whatever they're doing in their life. And then finding out and seeking out ways to get them to the next level, you know, and that's providing security for that person. You know what I mean?
I can agree.
But
yeah,
I can agree.
I definitely agree. Well, it's going to be interesting to see where the world is going right now. It's a shit show, but that's why this is so important, and that's why the conversation that we're having right now can hopefully help the next generation, and it can help the current generation, you know, to kind of just see different perspectives and see, like, you know what, maybe I should go and work really hard to bring my wife home from her job, because I'm sure she would really much appreciate that, and then she'd be in a much better mood. She'd have a lot more energy to do other stuff, and honestly, it's gonna create a happy family, you know. So when everybody's going 50-50 and shit, and the wife has to work too, she's not happy about that. Most women think they want to work until they actually work, because I don't believe that most women want to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly think, because you're basically saying that women have equal intelligence as men.
Now, if they have
equal intelligence as men, what intelligent person would choose to work if they had the option?
You know, every time we had this conversation, it get me to thinking, what's the lady? Everybody Hates Chris, where she be like, I don't need this. No, I don't need this job. My man got 2 jobs. My mother got 2 jobs. Every time, I promise you, every time like we had this conversation about that, it just pop up right in my head, and I'd be like, damn, this man right sometimes.
Because it's so true. It's so true. Bro. Women don't want to have to work to pay significant bills and things. And I'm not saying that they're lazy. I'm not saying it at all. But what I'm saying is that they would if they had the option, they would much rather take the option to not work and go do something that they love to do. If they had a man that could do that, you know what I'm saying, could pay the bills, and he's absolutely fine. He's not making her feel oppressed, because men do that shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my house, you know. That's what started that shit. That's what started women wanting to work and build careers and do everything they wanted to do, because men weren't being men. They were being pussies. They were basically saying, this is my household, I'm the man, and you got to listen to me. And then women was like, That's what started the whole feminist movement. And then women was like, the fuck?
But are they wrong?
I can work too.
But are they wrong for that?
Who?
Are they wrong for wanting to start that movement because of that statement you just said? Are they wrong?
No, they're not wrong. That's the whole point I'm making. It's because of men. If men did what they were supposed to do, women would naturally fall into a more feminine role. But because men have had the history of making women feel oppressed through their words, through their actions, then that is what caused this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you throw in the government and them giving women benefits and shit like that, making them feel independent. All of that shit conspired against us to make women want careers and want to actually work and want to actually build empires and things of that nature. I can't tell you how many times my wife says she wants to start something, but she complains so much about her job. She complains all the time. and she would love nothing more to just be at home, right? And I could provide that. Honestly, I could, but because of certain circumstances, you know, we're not in that position. You know what I'm saying? But she would love to be at home building her t-shirt business. That's what she would love to do.
Hey, look, I can't speak. I'm not married.
Well, I mean, I can. It's certain people that are gonna aspire to do things, and it's just in their nature. Some people are not. Some women are not built to just be stay-at-home mothers or stay-at-home wives. Some of them have different aspirations. They knew what they wanted to do even when they were a child. So with that being said, you have to, as a husband, you have to be able to cultivate that in them and say, look, I support you in your endeavors.
Right.
That's what you want to do. I support you in that. But you can't get upset at them for wanting to do something with their life because it's their life.
So
it's their life.
So now when I asked you that, I think I had the perfect question. So now, is it because that women do these things because? Is it really because of this men, like what you say, men not falling and doing what they supposed to do, or is it because we not looking back into what they experienced in their past life that make them want to be the way they are? I think what I'm trying to say is, do we hold a person's past accountable? I'm trying to put this in the right way. What makes a person, all right, let me see. Okay, my bad, y'all. So a person,
you need no drink, man.
I think that's what it is.
That's what it is.
No, man.
He's starting to trip because he ain't sipping up.
No, man.
I think that's what it is.
He's sipping. I'm tripping right now. So I'm saying, like, do we ever like look at a person's past, you know, and to understand the person, you know, until why they are like this, why they do this, and why they be like this?
Yeah, absolutely. Men are inherently more logical than women, so we think a lot. You know what I'm saying? We don't necessarily use our emotions a lot, and there's something that can be said about that. But for the most part, we think a lot, and we're very quick on our feet in terms of our thought process. So absolutely, we look at a woman's past and we look at what she's been through and we take that into consideration. And because of that, we tend to feel sorry, and then we want to be able to fix. We want to be able to fix broken women.
And don't think women do the same thing with men?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. You know that sometimes there's women that fall for the bad boy, right?
Yep.
The one who's always into trouble, the one who they always got to go bail out of jail and all of that. That's an example of them doing that for men. The point of it is we're all individuals, and we have to look at it as an individual basis. You know, we can generalize all we want, but when you date somebody, you're dating them. You're dating what they've gone through. You got to take their experiences into consideration, but you also have to be in the moment. You got to be in the moment. You got to know them for who they are right now.
Yeah, you dating that person's past, present, and into the future. So it's like my auntie always says this: before you even decide to even live with a person or be with she always told me, before you even talk to your girlfriend, you need to date somebody for at least 1 year. Date them for a year, and in that year, you're gonna find out everything you possibly need to know.
Yeah.
If by just dating, not being in a relationship with that person.
Shit, I didn't find out until a year or two. Shit.
Pay attention. Not just be wrapped up in the way that person looks.
Absolutely.
The way that they smell.
That's the problem.
You know what I'm saying? You like their hair.
That's what's so powerful about women, bro. Yeah. It's like
it's that ass,
they're just so beautiful, man.
It's that ass,
and then we
man.
get blinded. We just like, oh, she's so beautiful. You know, and the next thing you know, 2 years later, you got some issues, girl. Yeah, I wish I would have seen this a long time ago.
So look, right. Pay attention. When you first get into interest with a person, let's put it like that, interest with a person, pay attention to them. Not only them, pay attention to the people that are around them. Pay attention to their friends. Pay attention to their mother, their father. You know, see the way that they act and react around those people. And then you'll know what to look for in your future with that person if you decide to have a future with them.
Also, Look at me. Also, if you don't know how to get a girl and you ugly, make her laugh. But go ahead, bro.
You know what? It's interesting you brought that up because I want everybody to know. I want all the guys out there to know this very important thing. It's not just about money, okay? When it comes to trying to get a girl or trying to be in a long-term committed relationship with a girl, it's not just about money. You have to have the personality as well, okay? I've seen so many nerds lose their woman.
We said nerds now?
Bill Gates, right, lost his wife. Jeff Bezos lost his wife, all right? It's not just about, these guys are billionaires. It's not just about money. You have to have the charisma. You have to have the personality. You have to be funny. You have to have something about you that makes you tick. You have to be a mystery. Women love mystery, okay? So don't just rely on like, oh, if I get the money, then she's gonna like me. No. That may attract them. That'll definitely get you in the door. That'll qualify you to be with that 9 or that 10. You know what I'm saying? But she won't stick around if she realizes that you just a whack ass motherfucker.
He stood up in his seat to say that.
Exactly. Was Scarface wrong? First you get the money, then you get the power.
You're right.
Was he wrong about that or what?
It's just shoot, man.
So I want to talk about real quick. I want to switch gears and I want to talk about the 2024 election that's coming up. Right. So we haven't talked about politics as much on this show. We talked about it a little bit. We talked about systemic racism and things of that nature. But right now I want to talk about the 2024 election. So right now, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Donald Trump, right, is the overwhelming favorite to be the Republican nominee. He's been indicted 4 times already now. He's been impeached twice.
Hey.
Okay? And he's been indicted 4 times on some bullshit charges, in my opinion. What I'm starting to notice on TikTok, there's a trend going around where everybody in the black community is now starting to support Donald Trump because they realize they see all the bullshit that the Democrats are putting out there. That's what they're doing. And I find it very interesting because I actually voted for Donald Trump in 2016.
I saw the MAGA
I wouldn't have said that shit in 2016. I would have kept that shit quiet.
Well, you saw the MAGA hat? You hit the MAGA hat?
No, I didn't have no damn MAGA hat, man. No, I didn't have a MAGA hat.
You almost made me walk off the show.
Bro, I lived in the hood at the time in 2016. You think I'm going to be wearing a damn MAGA hat? I would instantly get beat up. But now,
stand up for your rights.
Hey, look, wait, hold on. Before, I know you finna go. I know you doing this, but I do want one Donald Trump merchandise shirt. I want the one with his mugshot on my
right. Shit was hilarious, bro. He rolled through Atlanta like a G.
They had a mugshot. They had his mugshot picture on a T-shirt. I think a Supreme logo was on it too. I was like, man, that's crazy.
But it's
Supreme?
But it's interesting.
Supreme.
Wow.
I know.
It's interesting to talk about now because a lot of people in the black community are starting to come out and be like, yo, when Trump was in office, we need to get Donnie back in there. Like when he was in office, like actually shit wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden in office, what the damn stimulus checks? What happened to those?
We're not in a pandemic.
They ain't coming no more. You know what I'm saying? He's just been fucking up. Like, and not only that, man, he's just a disaster, bro. He's a disaster.
Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Black people only want Trump back so we get back in them PP loans.
Wow. But you know what? It's funny though because the reason and I'm gonna go into it real quick. I'm gonna let you guys talk.
Go ahead.
But I voted for Donald Trump in 2016. And the reason I voted for him was because I was very stupid to a lot of things because the schools did not teach me properly. I didn't even know what immigration was. I didn't even know the concept of immigration. Like the fact that you couldn't come over here, just come over here. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought anybody could just come over or whatever. I didn't know that there was border security. I didn't know that there was a thing like you had to actually apply for.
You said this is before
to get
Trump?
into the country.
Wait, this was in 2016.
This was in 2016.
You just found this out?
No, in 2016 I found this out.
Okay.
Which is what made me vote for Donald Trump because he started talking about this stuff. And the big thing was, he made the statement, Mexicans are rapists and things of that nature. And so I started looking into that. I'm like, what's the big deal with this what's going on with this? So I started looking into it. And then I started to do more research and I realized like, wait a minute, it's illegal for people to come in here?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's illegal, then why are people making it a big deal? You know what I'm saying? And then I started looking at his comments. He said Mexican are rapists and drug dealers.
Like
I looked at the full video. I looked at the full video. The first time I watched it, he was like, some Mexicans are rapists. He said Mexico are sending their worst people over here. They aren't sending their good people. So that statement alone makes me believe that he believes there's good people in Mexico, right? So Mexico are sending their worst people over here. They're not sending their good people, right? They're sending drug dealers, rapists. And then he said in the same breath, I imagine some of them are good people. So my thing was, well, why is that a problem? Because it would be no different if you said some Americans are rapists and drug dealers. So what is the big deal? You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't saying all Mexicans are rapists and drug dealers. So I started to look at that. I'm like, why is people making this a big deal? Like, I'm looking at the video in full, in context, and this is what the man said. And then, you know, years go on, like months go on or whatever, and then I'm just looking at him. I'm observing him, and I'm seeing what he's doing, and I'm like, for me, it was very apparent. He was a attention grabber for sure with his comments, you know what I'm saying? So that's what made me look into politics. I wasn't interested in politics. I didn't know anything about immigration, and I started to educate myself. And then I quietly voted for Donald Trump in 2016.
Though he is a very direct man, I think some of his comments as first of all, an elected official in the representation of the United States.
But he's not a politician.
That's
what drove us to him.
When he was in presidency, a lot of his comments needed to be reworded a lot. You know,
that's like saying he's a human being, though, Dion. That's like us saying we need to reword everything that we saying here. We talk shit.
But
you know what I'm saying? And like,
you are the representation of what United States of the United States.
He was authentic. President. That's who he was, that's why we resonate with him, because everybody loves authenticity. Everybody loves when somebody is real. You know what I'm saying? Fuck being a politician.
I get that.
Fuck being a politician. Fuck being politically correct. You know what I'm saying? We want to hear the unscripted version of fucking Donald Trump. We want to hear the unscripted version.
There are
fuck being politically correct. Okay? Because we've gotten the politically correct, and they fucked us over so many times. The Democrats have fucked us over so many times. I want to hear authenticity. I want to hear real debates. I want to hear what somebody is saying is true. I don't like being played for a fucking fool. And Democrats have been playing us for a fucking fool.
There are times, yes, for you to be real, but at the same time, you are a professional. You have to be. You could be a real professional.
So that's why you didn't like him, because he wasn't professional.
I didn't give a fuck.
No, so there's a skit with Dave Chappelle that says, "When keeping it real goes what wrong." So the thing is, you can be candid. You can tell the truth, but there's a way to deliver the truth. You want to be able to reach the majority of people. And sometimes when you use certain wording, it's abrasive, so people automatically shrug it off. People automatically don't want to hear it because of the way it's delivered to them. You know, you can absolutely tell the people the unadulterated truth, but it's your delivery in the truth.
It's not about what you say, it's how you say it.
At some point, you can reach more people with being subtle, you know, rather than being abrasive.
Why you think
that hasn't worked?
Why you think the man?
Why you think we keep getting fucked over? Because everybody is being politically correct. Those Democrats know exactly what to say. They know how to say the shit perfectly.
And guess what? And Bernie been trying.
Guess what?
Listen,
the Republicans come in here.
I got you now.
The Republicans come in here and they say, you know what? We're gonna tell y'all the motherfucking truth, and we're gonna tell y'all the motherfucking truth. And if you don't like the truth, so be it. But you know what? There's a select few that's looking at that like, well, thank you for telling us the fucking truth, because we've been lied to our whole fucking life. So yes, I understand. There's a way you say certain things. But they've been saying certain. They've been politically correct for the longest.
And
that's what turned people off.
Even comments
people
as you
misunderstood.
Say. Even comments as you say.
People misunderstood.
No.
People misunderstood. This is exactly why Donald Trump won. I'm gonna tell you exactly why.
Even comments that you said, that this man said Mexicans send their worst, that most rapists and all that, they send that over here. But what Americans are? What do everybody are? You cannot literally just say, okay, all rapists and stuff is just mostly those Mexicans that come over here. They're Americans. They're all Europeans.
He was talking about immigration specifically. He wasn't talking about America. He's representing America. He was talking about immigration
But
policies.
how you disrespect? But you're disrespecting.
That's why he's saying
But
that.
how are you disrespecting other countries when our countries we're shit too?
Well, first of all, we were founded on the worst of people from Great Britain and all of them. They sent their worst people over here. And that's what started our own country over here.
We all built on bullshit.
He was talking about Mexico specifically. He wasn't talking about, yes, of course. Of course America has its problems.
But you're still disrespecting.
America isn't perfect, you know what I'm saying? But he was talking about immigration specifically. You have to understand that. This is not just an open conversation. He was talking about immigration specifically. That's why he mentioned that.
He was disrespecting.
He wasn't disrespecting the country.
He was disrespecting. He said.
That's okay. Am I disrespecting the country?
What did you just say? What did you say?
Am I disrespecting the country? Answer my question.
Did you or did you
Am
not
I
say,
disrespecting Mexico? Because I've been to Mexico a few times already. I got family over there.
Did you?
Am I disrespecting the country when I say this shit?
Did you or did you not say that Donald Trump says some Mexicans send some? From Mexico,
Mexico, the government.
So he was directing his comments towards Mexico.
He was directing it towards their government. And
exactly
right. So look,
well, government. This is my apologies. My apologies on that. Well, I'm saying you're still disrespecting a foreign government. You're still disrespectful. He's still disrespectful.
So let's put it like this: if let's put yourself in his shoes, and you see that the people that are being sent over from another country, we're not going to say which country, from another country, and 90% of them are degenerates, and they're sending them into your country, what are you going to say about it? Are you going to just sit back and say, oh, you know what, they deserve another chance here? Or are you going to say, look, if you want to send people, it's not just going to be the people that you don't want in your own country. It's going to be people that can help benefit our country, as well as people that you think deserve another chance in another land.
Let me tell you this. I would honestly agree with the way you just said it. I like the way that he worded it. The way the way he worded it.
Oh my God. You know what? Listen, and I'm not disrespecting you. But that is fucking female energy.
Wow.
Right there. Okay? Wow. Oh, say it nicely. Wow. You know, say it nicely. Wow. You know what I'm saying? No. Why the fuck do I got... Okay, you know what? I'll say it nicely for you, girl. Okay? I'll say it nicely for you. But men understand that, listen, we need to tell the fucking truth.
I think a lot of the female energy is coming from you. Woo, 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 and all that right there. So, I mean, sit down, baby girl. Sit down. We right here. But no, I'm not saying it to come off as like in a sensitive manner. Like I say, as a professional, if you would delegate it like that as a professional and not somebody who is just like you talking to somebody on the streets, it's professionalism. Would you go into work talking like that? Well, never mind.
That's a different thing.
Never mind.
But there's a reason that Donald Trump got elected in 2016. Okay, he got 20% of the black vote. That is what the Democrats went wrong. That's why he didn't get reelected. They underestimated the motherfucker. They underestimated him in 2016. They didn't expect him to win. If you look at any news channel except for Fox News, they all looked at it and they said, Donald Trump ain't gonna win. Our own president, Barack Obama, said, oh, Donald Trump is not gonna be president.
He was going against Bernie, right? It was him versus Bernie Sanders.
So
I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, was it him? It was him or Hillary? Which one?
Hillary Clinton. But it doesn't matter. Everybody thought that he wasn't gonna win, right? And I'm looking at this shit, and I'm like, he's gonna win because they underestimated. There is a silent majority. The silent majority, I'm one of them. See, I'm not gonna come out there and say, yeah, I'm voting for Donald Trump because he make a lot of sense.
I will be the first to admit, I am not big on politics. Honestly, I live in America. Of course. Who are you
voting for in 2024?
I don't even fuck
to wrap up.
I will write Kanye back in.
You gonna write him in the ballot?
I wrote him in the last time he told me to. I will write Kanye in. Because I think
free Yeezys for everybody.
Hey.
So we wrapping up in a little bit. We got about 3 minutes. But who you guys voting for? I know it's very controversial, and maybe I probably shouldn't ask this, but I'll just go ahead and tell you. If Donald Trump doesn't get arrested or sent to jail, He's probably going to get my vote for sure. I wanted it to be Ron DeSantis because he's a little bit more polished. Don't get me wrong. I do agree with you in that area. I do think you need to be a little bit more polished. That makes a good leader. Ron DeSantis, he's a little bit more polished. He doesn't have it. I watched the last debate and he doesn't have it. He's like a scared turtle, and he doesn't. He just doesn't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Did you say a scary turtle?
A scared turtle. Like he's waiting to go back in his shell.
But scared.
A scared turtle. He's waiting to go back in his fucking shell. You know what I'm saying? And so I have my faith in him, but he's not gonna make it happen. Donald Trump is probably the best candidate that we have because he's very strong. He displays that masculine figure that I admire, and he had the country in great shape when he was here for 4 years. Economically, we did tremendous, right? He was great on trade deals. He put North Korea in a fucking place. Kim Jong was like, yo, we friends now. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
During his tenure, we was in a pandemic. There wasn't really shit going on.
That was like the last year of his tenure, and he built some of the wall.
What you got to think of what was happening in the United States, though, too. There was civil unrest here. There was things going on here as far as the racial climate was at an all-time peak.
Yes.
It was not so good. As far as foreign relations are concerned, he did a job, whereas I can say some of the things he did were positive. But here, living inside the U.S.,
it was shitty.
It was not a great thing.
Did you go out?
We need somebody, a leader that can both be respected by the rest of the world and someone who is going to be for the people here.
The black people are supporting him now. So all he needs is 4 more years, and he gonna be in good shape.
Because it's the lesser of two evils. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's not that. I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I will go with that. I
don't think it's that. I've seen so many videos of people saying I'm supporting Trump, and they genuinely meant it. It's not because of they don't want Joe Biden. It's because he actually did a good job.
Where they live at? Those people that y'all, those same people.
They was in the hood, bro. Like
it's
not polished black people.
Wait. So
it was niggas, okay? It wasn't polished black people.
You get where I'm going with this, Derek? It was niggas, right?
It was niggas that said yes. We want that. We want Donnie back in the office.
Yes, right?
He's going back to the PPP loans.
That's why they say yes.
Hey, thank you guys for joining the show. We got to wrap up, but thank you, Derek, for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is to many more, and this will be up on YouTube pretty soon. All right, over and out.
Wait. We ain't out yet. I got one more stuff. I got my phrase I gotta say. My phrase.
What's your phrase?
Jeff Bezos, take us to the moon, bitch.
It was Elon Musk. Elon Musk.
What he said. All right, take us out.
Wow.
All right, over and out.
We cut that part. We gonna cut that part out.
You get Jeff Bezos and Elon together.